Hello, Dr. Vic. Um, these are the questions I chose in the final. Um, I began with choosing question number two, which is cyber attacks are becoming more and more frequent. Explain how you will treat this risk for an organization. I, um, I answered it previously with the question discuss the standards that are used to mitigate technological risk. So my way of approaching this question was I started by defining technological risk, and then step by step, I started with software failure and ways to mitigate software failure, um, as well as hardware failure, and of course, ways to mitigate it, heavy dependence on clouds, network connectivity failure, as well as ways to mitigate it, transaction delays, loss of consumer data, and of course, ways to mitigate it, and most importantly, cyber attacks, and of course, ways to mitigate it. The second question I chose to answer and write about is question number four, which is explain the risks between corporate governance and risk management. First, I started by defining corporate governance, and then the impact of corporate governance on an organization, uh, and did discuss the risk management conflict of interest, um, and the impact of board members on risk management measures. Um, I also discussed and wrote about why risk management measures should be in line with corporate governance. That was most of the content in my answer, and how a company's reputation can take a hit when risk is related to corporate governance as well. Um, that's it for question number four. I chose to write about question number five, which is explain how market risk can be mitigated with the use of derivatives. So for this one, I wrote in general about market risk and the definition of market risk and how it can impact a company or an organization, and then in that one of the most important ways or methods and the importance of hedging, of course, and of course, I talked about forward contracts, future contracts, and options and swaps in regards to market risk. And the last question I chose to write about was developing a BCP for a firm in case of another pandemic or a business continuity plan. So first, I talked briefly about the effects of a global pandemic on organizations, and then I explained what is a business continuity plan. Then I proceeded with talking about a pandemic, specifically pandemic BCP plan elements, um, and I talked about, of course, the importance of the model of prevent, prepare, respond, and recover. It goes under the BCP continuity plan. And yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, that is it.